the truth.
Yesterday was a really big day in the market, and especially with what the government's going on. The Supreme Court heard the case. It's a Second Amendment case about if you use cannabis, you can't own firearms. And somebody brought a case all the way back up to the court that said, why not? I'm not a danger to society. I'm just smoking a little weed at home. No big deal. The big thing that is the takeaway from that is that this really felt a lot like a big old Second Amendment showdown and more like a seminar with the justices debating whether what founding era drunkards meant, which is the original language that is being used for banning legal gun owners that use cannabis from possessing their firearms. It's around this section 922G3 thing that prohibits unlawful users of controlled substances from possessing firearms, right? So the important thing with this is not that I'm saying that everybody needs to go out and buy a bunch of guns, but what was really, really interesting is hearing the justices debate this and how that the Schedule 3 influence is starting to leak its way into the highest levels of government and even to the Supreme Court. Like Amy Coney Barrett said, quote, legislatures can regulate to keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people. But when I look at the statute and when I look at what the qualifications are for being listed on one of these statutes, they're about being public safety. And here with marijuana, I just don't see anything in the scheme that reflects Congress's judgment to make somebody who uses cannabis more dangerous. And you got another Trump appointee, Neil Gorsuch, who raised a really particular timely point that said that, the Biden era push to reschedule cannabis from 1 to 3 under the Controlled Substances Act and the work that the Trump administration is currently doing, that this really may end up being a Schedule 3 drug tomorrow. And it's just odd to have to choose to test the principle of whether or not that someone that uses cannabis can possess firearms. Even more, I loved Gorsuch's approach on this. He said, is this just Schedule 1? Is it Schedule 2? Like, how far down the rabbit hole do we have to go? And he really questioned whether the ban should also apply narrowly to higher scheduled drugs and not others, LSD users or heroin users or any other drugs that are on the Schedule 1 that have no benefit at all. Is that where we draw the line? Because those are and can create situations where it is dangerous for the public. Trump's defense on this was, well, when he did it, it was illegal and the government hasn't made any final decisions in respect to what to do with cannabis. And even said that some Schedule 3 drugs like ketamine are dangerous. And so I think the argument was weak. The categorical prohibitions are probably constitutional, but the government now has to prove that they need to align with historical traditions. And I think that the idea of drunkards in the field owning firearms and what the founding fathers meant was, this falls out of that scope. This is back then, medicine was cannabis. Literally. So my rant this morning is that I think that what we're seeing is the government at the higher levels and at the judicial level, which is really, really interesting, is starting to have a change of tone. So this is all good news for us in the industry. Like we're starting to see motions and the tone change. And if we can just get this Schedule 3 thing across the board, if Pam Bondi will just do her job, we'll be able to be somewhere. The only thing that I'm really concerned about, you've not heard a lot of feedback from the government yet of kind of like what's happening in the inner workings. They've really kept it tight. My hope that they're really working on trying to codify this and do the rulemaking in a way that is going to prevent immediate lawsuits and an injunction from the Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 move happening. Anyhow, well, that was my thoughts this morning. I was looking through my email and I saw that one and I just wanted to share it with everybody. All right, enough of Brad's rants today. I hope everybody has a great one. Go out and grow some fire, y'all.